All right, here we are in the KEXP live room, and very excited to have this artist with us. We've been waiting for quite some time to have this artist in the KEXP live room. By the way, 90.3 KEXP, we stream live here in Seattle 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and around the world at kexp.org. My name is Troy Nelson, and the artist I speaketh of is Madison Mcferrin. How are we today, Madison? And once again, thank you.
I'm doing very well. I'm very happy to be here, so thank you so much for having me.
Yes, we are very happy to have you, and loving this new album, I Hope You Can Forgive Me, which came out in May, and I believe we're going to hear some songs from it.
You certainly are.
Yes, well, Madison and band, if you are ready, take it away.
Let's go. That was Testify off of my debut album, I Hope You Can Forgive Me. One of the tracks that I produced myself, I produced 70% of the record. If you are unaware, women only make up 2.8% of producers in the industry. And you're looking at two of them right on stage. Brooklyn Skye on bass, got Donis on drums. This next song is about being grateful for life and not dying in car accidents because you wear your seatbelt. Wear your seatbelt. Ladies and gentlemen and people of the world. All right, let's do it. What is all forgiving when it's said and done? Could it be we're living all wrong? Taking it for granted till we're begging, please don't leave me now. I ain't ready. I won't let you down, no. So please don't leave me now. Leave me now. Do you think it's over when you walk away? Time ain't moving slower. Don't wait till you meet your maker. To be begging, please don't leave me now. I ain't ready. I won't let you down, no. So please don't leave me now. Leave me now. Told you that it ain't my time. Don't sound like I won't let you down, no. So please don't leave me now. Leave me now. Don't leave me now. I ain't ready. I won't let you down, no. So please don't leave me now. Leave me now. Shout out to life and not dying in car crashes.
Wow.
Because you can turn your trauma into art, and then you can dance to said art. That was the goal with that. Continuing on the car theme, this next song it took place in a car, as many things do. You drive places a lot of times to get things that you need, to get to places, to get to people. In 2020, the CDC said that the safest way to travel was to drive and to camp. So my partner and I, we drove cross country from Brooklyn to California, and we had so much fun that we decided to make it a tradition. And so we did that in the summer of 2020, and then we did it in the summer of 2021, and we took different routes each way. No direction was the same. And we just happened to pass through this one particular state once each round trip, and each time we did, we got into a massive blowout argument. So the second time it happened, I was like, something is up with this state. So again, artiste, trauma, art, wrote a song about it. Want to hear it? Here it go. Something about the desert, it must get you hated. Seems we can't escape delirium. everything we hear's been said and done. I thought that it was over, thought that we could make it across the Colorado line. But I was mistaken, and I'm over waiting for you to make up your damn mind. Gotta get out of Utah, gotta get back home. But is Brooklyn any better? Or should we be alone? Something about formations splitting into pieces, cracking the windshield as we drive. It must irritate you to the point you break too, wondering if we could still survive. Maybe this is crazy, maybe I'm just lazy. Whatever the case, let's just decide. 'Cause I'm sick and tired of waiting. Don't think I could take it. Now let's make it through the night. Gotta get out of Utah, gotta get back home. But is Brooklyn any better? Or should we be alone? I hate it when we fight. Can't stand my sleepless nights. No. What else is there to say to make you stay? Or should we walk away? Gotta get the fuck up out of Utah. Gotta get back home. But is Brooklyn any better? I said, is Brooklyn any better? Should we take this down to Georgia? Or California help us grow? 'Cause if Brooklyn isn't better, I wanna be alone. Gotta get the fuck up out of Utah. Gotta get out of Utah. Don't wanna be alone. Beautiful state. But energetically, something is up with me and my partner. So, I will stay away for a little bit. But I'll come back. Canyons are beautiful. All right, one more time. This is Brooklyn Skye on the bass and Donis on drums. And we are here with you at KEXP in Seattle in the Pacific Northwest. It's feeling good. We're feeling great. This last song, I'm actually going to kick them off. They're going to stay here, though, for aesthetic purposes and also trigger purposes. And I wrote this song when this is the last song I wrote on the album, actually. And I felt like the album needed an empowerment piece, a woman empowerment piece. And I tried to write a song that I had a beat. I really liked it, but nothing was coming. And it turns out that I feel very empowered, maybe even the most empowered, when I sing a cappella, which is how I started my career. So this is one of my favorites, and it's called God Herself. You gonna see me and believe. I could change your mind. Keep you satisfied. Like the high feeling you gon' see me and believe in God herself. In God herself, baby. You gon' see me and believe in God herself. You gon' see me and believe in God herself. You gon' see me and believe God herself. You gon' see me and believe in God herself. God herself. See me and believe. Please.
Awesome. Wow. That is Madison Mcferrin live here in the KEXP live room, and just beautiful, beautiful voice and fantastic songs and musicians. You got it all here.
Thank you. I do my best.
Loving this. Once again, the new album's called I Hope You Can Forgive Me. And once again, Madison, thank you for taking the time being with us here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I've always loved KEXP sessions, so it's really an honor to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. And that song, a cappella, like you had mentioned, how you started your career. I saw that Questlove described your music as soul-apella.
Correct, yes.
And I feel like if Questlove says anything about me, that means I'm doing something right.
I would hope so. As soon as he said that, I was like, taking it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you.
I love that. Also, a lot of people have different songs for different activities. They have a running song that they like to run to, or something that they like to relax to, or songs for a rainy day. But your favorite walking song is Watermelon Man by Herbie Hancock.
Yes, it is.
Yes, and I'm so curious if you have ever gotten to meet Herbie Hancock.
I've met Herbie a couple times. He and my dad have worked together many times over the last 40 years. Actually, one of the funniest interactions I've had was one time my dad, Herbie, and John Schofield were playing a George Duke show at the Kennedy Center, and George was there too, but me, John Schofield, Herbie Hancock, my dad, and my brother Taylor, who has done a KEXP session, we were going to the Kennedy Center together, and we got dropped off at the wrong backstage door, and then all of us got lost together backstage. And I was just looking around being like, I should write a paper about this. This is some jazz legends on their way to go play with George Duke at the Kennedy Center. But yeah, we got lost, so that was fun.
It'd be funny if they just dropped you off at the wrong concert in general.
Right.
Oh, yeah. You're like, where? And then all of a sudden you're on stage with the Jonas Brothers or something. Like, I don't think this is correct.
That would not be correct. That would not be correct.
That's fantastic. And speaking of your brother Taylor, when you were young, he was jamming out to Jamiroquai.
Yes, he was.
And everyone thinks of the song Virtual Insanity, but as you got older, you started to love Jamiroquai. But what is it about the song All Right that you love so much?
Oh, my goodness. It's like the perfect dance song. I think the first time I was really listening to that album, Traveling Without Moving, as an adult, because my brother Taylor was playing it all the time when it first came out when I was 6 or 7, and so I couldn't appreciate it in the same way, but then I got back into it in college, and I remember when All Right came on, I put it on repeat 5 times because it's just so fun and dancey, and you can't help but do this. We'll spend the night together, wake up and live forever. Yeah, great song. Shout out to J. Key and Jamiroquai.
And speaking of songs that enhance our lives, what is it about the song 20 Feet Tall by Erykah Badu that resonates with you so much?
Ooh, okay, so that kicks off the album New America Part 2, and I think it's one of those songs that It's very empowering because it's like you think you're this small person and then it's like, but when I get off my knees, I might recall I'm 20 feet tall. It's just like when you get out of your own way and remember your power and remember who you are, like you are this great being that can do anything. And so that's such a great way to open up an amazing album. So I just love that song so much.
And another song that you had performed today, Please Don't Leave Me Now. And you talked a little bit about it before you went into it, but that rose from the ashes of a very scary incident because you hit some black ice.
Yep.
The car's spinning, it flips, ends up upside down.
Yes.
And you walked away from it shaken, but
without a scratch.
Without a scratch. But it's those moments, I think, that we start to really think about like a higher power or energy, and a moment that they could easily take us right there and then, but sometimes they don't. And then it makes us more grateful and thankful. And I'm just curious for you to elaborate a little bit more on that particular song and incident.
Well, like you said, it was like I was 90 minutes away from the destination, merged from the right lane into the left lane, hit a patch of black ice. Thank God nobody was close to us because we did a 360 on the highway and then flipped upside down. And shout out to Toyota Prius Safety because we are still here. The car is not, but I think me and my partner are more important than that. Honestly, one of the scarier things about it was this happened at like 11:45 at night, and it was pitch black outside, and we're in Indiana. And 2 black people on the side of the road in Indiana, you got to call the cops after this. And it was like, there was a moment of like, not really even being able to process the car accident because unfortunately, as black people in America, calling the cops isn't exactly a great thing all the time. Thankfully, we got a cop that was very nice and whatnot, and I'm sure many of them are, but it was just to not even have a moment to really process the trauma of being in an insane car accident was a lot. And so, I don't know if anybody knows this, but after you get into something like this, it's really great to play Tetris. Tetris is shown to reduce PTSD symptoms. So I have one of my best friends is a mental health professional, and she was like, download and play Tetris immediately. So your girl got really good at Tetris, usually in the top 10 players of whatever region I am in when I am playing. And shout out to Trauma for that.
Yeah, I learned something new every day. Madison Mcferrin, one of the greatest voices, one of the greatest Tetris players.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. That's what's my epitaph on my tombstone.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to say.
Or it's just going to have the shapes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's actually the tombstone's going to be one of the shapes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Dark but amazing. So your music has led you to being part of many great shows and experiences, and you've gotten to meet some other amazing artists that we all admire. But if I were to ask you what experience in particular in your musical journey has made you feel the most anxious or experience what we feel called imposter syndrome, what experience or person have you met that you felt that way?
Oh my God, how much time do you have? I would say the first thing that came to mind was I sang with the late, great Aretha Franklin.
Wow.
And that happened totally by chance. I, at the time, was singing backgrounds in my dad's band, and we had a gig at the Ottawa Jazz Festival, and we got there a day early, and that night Aretha was playing, and my dad had gotten it arranged for he and I to meet her in her trailer, and he had never met her either. And the whole time, this is like 10 years ago, the whole time on the way over there in my mind, I'm like, Dad, please don't ask me to sing anything. Don't ask me to sing anything. I do not want to sing in front of the greatest voice of all time and one of my biggest idols. And so we get there, we have a great little chat, and this was the summer that Pharrell's Happy was literally everywhere. And so as we're getting ready to leave the trailer, she asks my dad, she's like, hey, do you know the song Happy? And he was like, no, not really. And I was like, yes, you do. And I started singing the chorus, and she was like, okay, well, why don't you sing it with me? And I was like, Okay. Because it's like in the middle of her set when she would do a costume change. And so I was on the side of the stage waiting to be called up. Her MD called me up. And thank God, I'm really good with like knowing lyrics. And I'd heard that song a million times. She went off stage and the MD just looks at me and it goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, go. It's I just had to start singing, and then she came up, and then we like traded fours, and then I died, and this is actually a fever dream since then. So
and heaven is the KEXP live room.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it looks like it. Looks all sparkly.
And I'm here to welcome you.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, to your credit, so I was asking what made you feel most like imposter syndrome, though Aretha Franklin, that's like meeting God.
It kind of is, and also at that time, I definitely, this is all a growing process, and getting over imposter syndrome has been very difficult. And so I definitely suffered from it a lot more at that time. Mm-hmm. So that was like a mountain of things. But I hope I'm making Miss Franklin proud.
Well, I want to tell you, Madison, I've heard through the grapevine, something that helps with imposter syndrome is playing a lot of Mario Kart. So you have Tetris. Mario Kart
Listen,
will help.
I'll do it. Let's go.
It's just
Toad
what I've heard.
all day.
Yeah. Oh, you'd pick Toad?
I would.
Are you a Toad?
Would.
Yeah.
I am a Toad.
And then lastly, Madison, I have to ask you about this because I was watching this video and I'm like, this looks so interesting. It was like an hour and a half long, and there you are hanging out with the guy that they call Loop Daddy. First of all, how did you get involved with this? I know that Mark Rebele has made a name for himself doing these streams and wearing the robe and building these beats. I mean, he's incredible, right? You got to see this. I'm just curious about that. It was an hour and 20 minutes or something, and it was just fantastic. You're improvising, you're singing over this beat, and that's happening in real time. You're all in pajamas and just drinking coffee. How did you get involved with that?
So that actually happened after I went viral for Guilty coming out, because I was looping. He got tagged in my video a million times, and we had been aware of each other, but we hadn't met. And so he literally shot me a DM on Twitter and was like, hey, we should do stuff. You want to come on my stream? And I think either the previous stream, either one or two prior to me, was Emily King, who is a mutual of both of ours. So it was like, oh, okay. And just went over to his apartment. And it's really funny because, when he records, it's in his headphones. And I didn't start right when he started because I hadn't eaten breakfast yet. So I was just in his kitchen eating, and you can't hear any of the layers he's making. So you just in the other room, you just hear yeah, butter, baby, yeah.
Yeah, because you weren't in the room for the first 10 minutes of this
I was
thing.
eating an egg sandwich, but that was a very entertaining thing to experience in that moment. And then we just had so much fun. That was some of the most fun I'd had in the pandemic up until that point. And he's such a great dude too, and just like a musical genius.
He really, really is. I was looking at the comments section, which is always a fun place to be.
Always a great place for your mental health is the comment section.
Exactly. And somebody in the comments section said that Mark is a combination of a 70s porn star and a roller skating DJ.
That is the most accurate thing I've ever heard in my life. Yes.
I agree. Mm-hmm. I agree. But I love seeing the comments, everyone just loving your voice, of course, and you're just such a fantastic artist and person, Madison. I'm very happy to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure, and shout out to Brooklynn and Donna's for joining me on this little run. We've had a great time.
Amazing musicians. I was astonished watching both of them. So once again, everybody, that has been Madison Mcferrin live here on KEXP Seattle.
Discover great music at kexp.org.